What's happening, sports fans? Christian Pedersen here with San Diego Prep Insider, bringing you another tidbit on the countdown to San Diego High School football returning. I've got 5 things I'm looking for in the Division I CIF San Diego Section landscape. This is also quasi 5-ish things that I'm looking for in open division, because any 4 of these teams from Division I will be drawing up into the premier playoff bracket, the open division. Let's go full screen here with the teams that make up Division I this year. We got a couple of movers and shakers coming up, a couple of teams going down, most notably Mater Dei Catholic being added to this list from Division III last year. Yes, even the intern is stoked about the Mater Dei Catholic Crusaders move up into Division I and possibly into open division, and that'll start it right there with, I'm looking at who's making open division this year. We've got a fair amount of different permutations with which this could exist. I think that you could make cases for 6, 7, 8, 10 teams even early on in the schedule. I think Mater Dei, as always, will be getting the most looks and people crunching numbers. Is it mathematically possible or not, given their league schedule? How many non-league wins will they have to get? What does that do to the rest of the competition? There's going to be a lot of debate about it throughout the year, but I think Carlsbad, certainly a team with that offensive side that you look at. Lincoln, they potentially could be somebody. Madison could be a dark horse. Cathedral Catholic there last year, you can never count them out. There's a lot of teams on this list that you got to look at potentially as huge open division dark horses until we get a couple of games in. And then I think there will be some friendly fire and or wins and losses that start to thin this herd out a little bit, but it's a dense year. Second thing that I'm looking at is going to be one of the things that I already brought up just a little bit, and that's Lincoln's defense. We talked to some of them earlier this offseason. There is a ton of hype. Chris Fewell from Lincoln, they're one of their linebackers committed to SDSU. You can check out our interview we did with him in the offseason. He specifically said he thinks that Lincoln's going to have the best defense in the section. We saw them make it all the way to a championship game, make it to within one stop of a championship win last year. They're returning a lot of those pieces. Certainly is going to be something to watch for, because every week they will be a defense that is getting tested a ton. So not going to have any really breathing room for air. Speaking of getting tested a ton, my number 3 thing that I'm looking for is Carlsbad. They return a lot of that offense, including a 5-star quarterback, and you got to think that all eyes are going to be on him, but I'm going to say all eyes are on his receivers and running backs, because he's got to have some seniors now or younger step up in the wave of graduation, depleting the Carlsbad offensive receiving and production core a little bit last year. So I'm saying they've got the quarterback situation figured out at Carlsbad. Let's look towards who's going to be the person receiving that. You got to assume that the offensive line is well coached, ready to go in terms of at least base concepts of the offense. They're going to give their receivers enough time to get open. It's just going to be a question of where Sane's going to start to distribute the ball to. That's who I'm looking forward to more. Let's go down the line a little bit here to Scripps Ranch. They are the next team that I'm watching. Jax Leatherwood wins huge last year in the playoffs with Scripps Ranch. They have been on an absolute tear for the last 3 to 5 years, you will. It feels like they got to get a couple dubs, to maybe prove themselves out of the gate again, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I've got a lot of confidence in Jax Leatherwood. I got a lot of confidence in Coach Gardner and what he's got going, returning from last year. I don't know if I want to say odds on that they are the favorites to win D1, but I'm going to watch them early on to be maybe in the driver's seat, at least momentum and hype and heart-wise for that, where the bar is set at the competitive level for the D1 teams. Madison is the final team that I'm looking at, number 5. Jake Jackson is going to be an absolute production monster on the offensive end. They've got some size on the interior. They could be one of my swing teams where, if they have a good enough season, they wind up and open. If they miss out on one game, they fall short somewhere, they wind up down as the 1 seed in D1. They're going to be maybe the team that most closely will impact the most kind of ripples and waves of all of this outside of the Mater Dei Catholic Crusaders. That's just 5 things. Promise that Colton Toll and I will be back next week as we draw, it's scrimmages next week. So we will be back with a much more in-depth Division I and open division preview. If you want any information on any of the other divisions, please check them out on our YouTube, as well as all of our team in-studio interviews. Thank you very much for stopping by, sports fans. We'll talk to you next time.